just being real. We talking about Baltimore, right?
Right.
You said Ravens fans are trying to give you crap for y'all signing Mr. Trubisky.
Correct.
The last team to ever give slander to the tierdom of your quarterback and where they can take you is the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens only have 2 Super Bowl appearances. They won both of them, get them credit, but they only have 2 in their entire existence. And those names are Trent Dilfer. I can't even say his name right. That's a shame. I guess Nelly lied when he said nobody remembers your name if you don't win it, because he won it and I still can't pronounce his name right. But it's Trent Dilfer, and who's number 2?
Joe Flacco.
Listen, I ain't saying Mitch is on the level of Joe Flacco, but I don't know what level we put in Joe Flacco on.
I don't either. I mean, Joe's not bad either. To me, though, I'm at this point, I'm taking anybody over Mason Rudolph. I don't care who it is. I'm not upset about it. I don't care who it is. As long as it's not him, I'm good. I'm content with that.
Facts.
I'm totally
Jeremy.
Oh, what's up?
Yes,
what's up,
sir.
What's going
on?
I
know.
Hey, man, you're moving a little too much like me. We can't be moving this incognito-ish.
I know I wasn't here before you. I know I was not.
Hey, look, you want to know something funny? I walked away from the phone and I didn't even hang up on the group chat. So anyway. Yeah, so hey guys.
Hello.
Hey guys, you guys want some cookies or something? You know, some milk?
No.
So we got, first of all, I just want to give a shout out to you guys, man, for the show you guys did the other night.
For sure.
With everything that was done. I mean, I appreciate y'all leaving a little bit of room for a player to jump in here. Shouts out to Denver. They're making some moves out there, you know. They out there on their big shine stuff, you know. They got the moves.
Before we do all that, I just want to say my coach turned 50 today. So I just want to, that's why he's my background.
Tanya, you need to get your coach on the show.
My coach. Shout out to my coach.
Get your coach on the show because we got some questions for Mike.
I'm gonna work on that.
So
Jerm, I mean, first of all, before we really get started on this, because we allow people to get their popcorn. We already a little late. That's okay. You should know by now. Okay, we will get better. It is part of the resolution. It is part of the resolution. But until we resolve the resolution, you're gonna have to adjust to our contributions. I don't know where I was going with that. Before we get started, Jerm, there is a question, sir, that I must ask you here today.
I'm ready for this question. Go ahead.
What was true or false? You and I, not that we like to toot our own horn, but sometimes I want to point this out before we get started with this show. Okay. When you and I went back and forth with Seattle and other teams, but we're talking about, because we're about to talk about Russell Wilson real quick. Because we got to recap what we did Thursday so you could give your views, because obviously we got to get your views. We went back and forth with Russell Wilson a lot over the last 16 months. We finally came to one conclusion, you and I. True or false? If you get rid of Russ, you get rid of Bobby. If you keep Russ, you keep Bobby. And that is exactly what Seattle did within a matter of hours. We know the history. We know the trade. Russell Wilson for 7-11 billion picks and 4 starters and a PS5 and the iPhone that ain't come out yet and a Grand Wagoneer. I mean, and 50 tanks of gas, which is a lot. Okay, 50 tanks. I ain't talking about gallons. I'm talking about tanks. So that's 50 tank has about 6,000 gallons, about 300,000 gallons of gas that Seattle is sending to Denver, or Denver sending to Seattle. Your thoughts on the trade and everything that transpired between Denver and Seattle?
Well, if you're Denver, so last year, we talked about it during the playoff stretch. Denver's in a spot last year where Denver only gave up. They were bottom 5 in the league in actual touchdowns given up. I think they gave up like 32 touchdowns all last year, which was like bottom, like, you know what I'm saying? But as far as giving up touchdowns,
least allowed,
they were also in the top or upper echelon in rushing touchdowns and not giving up as many rushing touchdowns. I think they gave up 9 last year. So you have a defense that's ready kind of now. You can keep adding pieces too. You got a young secondary that you don't have to pay yet, which is going to be important. Chubb is coming up for you to have to pay him soon. So I think that's going to be very, very interesting. And I think altogether, we're talking about a situation where you have just a lot of positive capital, whether it be draft capital or personnel capital, that's there. The 2 tight ends with them drafting Albert O from Missouri.
Yes.
They were working with him and Noah Fant. So for Noah Fant to be a part of that deal tells you just how bad they wanted Russ. I will honestly tell you, I like the trade for Denver. Seattle. I think this is the trade that had to happen for Seattle to get okay. Pete Carroll does well with what? Mediocre talent. He puts you in a position to succeed. He puts you in a position to do your job to the best of his ability. Pete Carroll's never been a guy who had a lot of superstars necessarily, but his superstars were best in the world, Craig, energy.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Bobby, you got Earl, you had Bennett, Michael Bennett. Those guys were elite at what they did. Like, they were elite top 10 players respectively at their positions. I don't think there was a better free safety in football when it comes down to it, other than Ed Reed, other than that, and during this time frame, I don't think it's been a better one, or other than Earl Thomas over the last 7 years, to be honest. Outside of, you know, some of the year with Baltimore or whatever. But I'm gonna be honest with you and say, with Wagner moving on, with Russ being gone, getting some draft picks back, because you got to pick up some draft picks now that you've traded them off for Jamal Adams. Rebuild your defense. You got the best strong safety right now currently in the NFL on your team. Problem is, he's a strong safety, doesn't impact the game. You need more impact players. You got to find them, and you're going to have to do it via the draft. Seattle's not a huge free agent spot to me. I don't look at it as a huge free agent spot or a place where people are going to say, "Ooh, I got to get to Seattle." But all great players that come out of Seattle, for the most part, were drafted there or homegrown. Get back to the draft. Do the things you got to do there. I think this is a good thing for Seattle moving forward. I'm here for it. I love what they've done, at least getting draft picks back. And Mo, you know, Vic's thing is he loves the draft, and is his opinion is the backbone of the team. You think more free agency, and I think more in the middle, where I think 2-3 good free agents and 2-3 good draft picks turn a 6-win team into a 10-win team. You know?
Yeah.
So I like this for both sides. I'm gonna say this too about Aaron Rodgers as well.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers.
Remember, we didn't talk much about Aaron Rodgers yet.
I'm interested to see what the Packers are really thinking. Are we really going to get 4 years or 4 years out of Aaron Rodgers at this stage? I'm very, very confused about that part.
Wait. You don't know?
I don't know if we're going to get 4 years out of
him. It wasn't a 4-year deal, Jerm.
I thought it was 4.
Aaron Rodgers, we're going to wait for Vic to actually dive into this, signed a deal for 3 years, $150 million, fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed.
So it's 3 years.
Fully. So $50 million a year. Fully. No incentives, no if. fully. Show up on March 16th, 2023 and March 16th, 2024, and we're going to give you $50 million. Anyways, let me just talk about Seattle real quick, right? I know. Let me just talk about Seattle real quick. I said my piece about Denver. I said I was going to leave Seattle for a future date. While everybody tuning in here and getting into the comment section and getting the popcorn and whatever, first of all, full disclosure, I am recovering over stomach flu, so call me Jordan Game 5 right now, all right? Seattle declared, and I'm being dramatic here, okay? I'm being dramatic. Seattle declared that, damn it, we will make this Jamal Adams trade make sense. So how do they do that? You get rid of Russ, you get rid of the defensive captain, and you basically say, hey, you the OG on this team now. This locker room now belongs to you. We are going to infuse this defense and this locker room with youth that need guidance on how to be a professional football player. And say what you want about his on-field productivity for the Seahawks the last year and a half. That's got a lot more to do with Pete Carroll than it does with Jamal Adams, the player.
Also has more to do with the position than it does the player.
But Jamal Adams is a professional football player in every sense of the word. The way he carries himself, the way he displays himself, everything. He is a professional football player. The way he just talks about, like, sometimes you talk to somebody when they're younger, because I'm around a lot of younger people these days. I'm not, whatever. You could just tell quickly, okay, this young man is going places. Oh Lord, this one, what we gonna do with this one? And Jamal Adams is that dude. You just talked. He's got the perspective of a grown man. The way he talks, his insight, the way he sees the game, the way he sees life, the way he handles his financials, mentals, the way he takes care of his chickens, as a former Seahawk would say, as a forever Seahawk would say. So I think for Seattle, this is really a great way to say, hey, man, we're not rebuilding. We've been rebuilding. We started rebuilding when we brought this piece into our locker room, because this is the piece that we want to carry the next decade of Seattle football, very much like Bobby Wagner, Michael Bennett, what Earl Thomas, what Cam Chancellor, what Richard Sherman, what they intended on them doing, and what they did, really. Like, forget the fact that all four of those endings were not pretty. Like, Seattle football is those names I just mentioned. They're all gone now. And it's on Jamal Adams and Pete Carroll to get this young and potentially fantastic roster by 2023 ready to fully compete. Because all it takes is getting that one quarterback that can help you compete on Sundays with the right roster, and you're going to compete. You're going to compete.
I'm going to say this too, and I'm going to add this to the situation. Shout out to everybody in the comments, KG. Ronnie, Taywork. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's good to be back. Views is back on the scene. Y'all know what it is. It's just like that. Just views, baby. But keeping it real, what you just said is part of the reason why I think it's time that you have to rebuild in Seattle. Because right. I think Seattle is not a team. I don't think Seattle was ever meant to be a veteran team. I think that they're a team that should be a youthful, up-and-coming team that is all predicated on scheme versatility, and most importantly, so having the best team that they could possibly put on the field.
All right. So listen, in case y'all don't know, right, this is one of those special shows We're gonna have some breaking news, so we'll get comfortable. Let's have a conversation, Jeremy.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it, Muhammad.
You just
Wow.
So you just said that you think Seattle is one of those teams that needs some youth. They need to be young. They don't need to be this veteran group like the Rams, like the Bucks, like the Patriots the last 2014. Like, you don't need that. Here's why I find that very, very interesting. Despite winning a Super Bowl, despite 2 Super Bowl appearances in 10 years, despite actually being one of the most successful franchises since he's taken over, there is still speculation as to whether Pete Carroll is actually an NFL head coach, right? Maybe Pete Carroll is better suited for college. Well, the Seattle dynasty lasted about 4 years. Okay. Sherman's freshman year, Sherman's senior year. I'm getting somewhere. Sherman and Michael Bennett and Earl Thomas were all one of the people that said the first few years playing for Pete Carroll, yeah, they got up. They got up for it. They were ready to battle for him every Sunday. But after a while, it just got old. It got old quick. What I'm getting to here is this is exactly what Seattle needs, no? For Pete to keep these guys in a 4-year window so that his program, because Bill Belichick will be the first to tell you, Pete has not changed his program in 50 years. 50 years. Bill said it, not me. So maybe that is exactly what they need. As more breaking news is coming in, but nothing major yet. Maybe that is exactly what they need, is to keep overturning a roster where you only have guys, that are young, you have guys that are not really into what the NFL actually is yet. And so for 4 years, they think, yo, this is the greatest thing on earth. Because all these guys who made it seem like Seattle was the greatest place in the world to play from 2012 to 2016, none of them ended with on good terms. Not even Cam Chancellor. So maybe Pete isn't necessarily a college coach. Maybe he's just a guy who skins a cat one way.
So as you're talking, right, I got 3 things I wrote down, right? 3 to 4 years is the average championship window. Fair or foul?
Fair.
5 to 7 years means you have an established program, system, something that you're doing that's a little bit more, you can integrate people further, whether it be free agents or rookies. So it's applicable to NFL growth and development.
Yes, I love when
8 to 10 years is when you get dynasty status.
Okay.
So we got Bill, who can do a dynasty. Bill is the guy who's established dynasty status.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In the 5 to 7 year range, what coaches do we have there?
Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, John Harbaugh.
Now, when we say that, Pete Carroll would have to be in that 5 to 7 year window.
He should be. Same with Sean Payton.
Correct. Now, with that being said, except for Bill, all of these guys won in that same way.
None of these guys made a Super Bowl or made a second Super Bowl if they made a second Super Bowl within that time frame. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So it would be within 5 years that they made their run. Now, in Mike's defense, for the Steelers, I think the Steelers have been turning over, trying to get back from some of those old school principles that they've established all throughout the 90s and early parts of the Steelers, dynasty, decades, whatever. You still have the thing where Seattle never really won anything. They had a couple of good years here and there, but they never won a Super Bowl. John Harbaugh has done the most with his roster.
Yes.
Probably more than anybody can say.
Yes.
At this stage, maybe other than Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
I got to be honest. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Bill had Tom, and I'm going to take some points off for Bill having Tom. Because Tom was that dude for New England that kept New England relevant for a long time. And now it becomes more and more relevant that Tom was a big part of that. Jim and Mike have recreated teams that had a certain identity. They've recreated teams. Andy's always been Andy when it comes to offense. Like, he's always been Andy. He's always been creative. He's always done a good job. But Pete has run this cover 3 since 1970.
Yo.
That cover 3 is not going anywhere. He likes having a safety that can come down and make plays. He likes having those type of things. But the biggest thing that I think we have to do, what I'm really trying to get at and drive home from this conversation is that Pete has to be an upper echelon coach in the NFL, considering you have to look at your years in the NFL kind of like college years, because every draft class takes on its own years in the NFL. So if you draft some players in 2012, well, they don't graduate technically until they get to what? Their next contract, which is their big contract normally. How many people is Pete Carroll getting to those second contracts?
Ask that question one more time.
How many people is Pete Carroll getting out of college or into their second contracts? The answer is it's a high rate, just like it would be for Bill, Mike, Jim, John, and Andy. So you have to give him that type of respect and say he's an NFL coach.
No, okay.
See what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to say, bro. Bobby Wagner was a second-round pick. Russell Wilson was a third-round pick. Earl was the first-round pick. Cam was a fourth-round pick. So you're doing your homework because you're finding the players that other people don't know how to use and turning them and giving them the reins to be the best players they can be. And you got a Super Bowl out of it.
So,
and you were a bad player or two away from being in position to win another.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to tie all this in. All right? Because I was waiting for you to say something very specific. And this is where Mike Tomlin comes into play, because you probably look at it and you say, damn, how has Mike Tomlin not been to a Super Bowl in 12 years now? And I don't put it on Tomlin, more so as I blame it on an approach the draft method that the Steelers were stuck in. Why? Because they created it. Shout out and rest in peace to the great Chuck Noll. But to a fault, Kevin Colbert or Colbert, or however you pronounce his name, because I never know, he sort of handicapped this roster over the course of 12 years because he was so stuck on that principle while the league just kept evolving. 2016, you can 100% hold Mike Tomlin accountable for not getting to the Super Bowl that year, because had they not gotten their ass whooped by New England, they'd have beat Atlanta. I'm gonna come back to Seattle. Don't worry. We gotta bring it around the world to tie this whole segment in. I promise you. Just they didn't say, "Hey, what are you painting now?" Picasso, he told y'all, wait, just wait. We getting somewhere. To a fault, he held that roster handicapped because he stuck to that principle. The Steelers GM did, right? Because it always felt like the Steelers, man, they got 1 through 42 solid. But man, if only they had this, or man, if this guy wasn't so bad, or man, if these corners weren't so bad, man, if all our O-line wasn't so young, man, if, and it's held them back. So that's more on the building the roster approach that they had. And here's where I'm gonna tie it back to Pete Carroll. There is nothing wrong with the way he wants to build a roster. Where he has to be careful is if this is truly the structure that he is following. 5-year window, young players. Okay, then guess what? In 2027, in 2028, I got to pull the plug and start over again, right? So in order for him to keep that model sustainable, you got to rely on one thing. And unfortunately, it is the biggest unknown. And unfortunately, it is a huge variable. The quarterback. If you are going to, here's my point. If you are going to follow that method, you got to get a quarterback by spending money, not spending draft capital. Because money, $25 million a year, is cheaper than a first-round pick. In the NFL, $35 million a year is cheaper than a first-round pick. So if Pete wants to follow this model, because guess what? The reason they haven't been successful is because they've had their quarterback that they've molded, but they've had nothing else. So now you got to, in order to keep this model sustainable, it's just my humble opinion. Oh my God, Shaq Mason is coming to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I saw it.
Mo, let me say something to you.
In order, I'm going to get back to business. In order for it to be a sustainable model, Pete has to get his quarterback via free agency. I'm buying a number 69 Buccaneers jersey now.
Okay, so check this out.
So sick.
I want to say this. You know what? That may be one of those things that I gotta agree with you. I think I have to agree with you because, okay, the $25 million is not really even an investment at this stage.
No.
It's just the money you give a quarterback, right? So if we look at it from that, Vic, I want to get you in on this too. I don't know if you heard everything, but if you did, we can put it back for you, or put it in subtitles, however you like it. But when you draft a player in the first round, that's not a 5-year endorsement. That's more like a 10-year endorsement. Because I don't want me and Vic do this every year. When we say a player is a blue chip player, blue chip means this is a player that's generational talent. This is a player that can turn an organization around or be a staple in an organization. So when we scouted Myles Garrett, he checked every box, every single box. When we scouted Bradley Chubb, he checked every single box. When we scouted guys like that, even Deshaun Watson, they check every single box. Leadership, whether the leadership be quiet or be on the field, natural ability, elite traits at their said position, that all matters. But when you pay a guy $25 million that's a free agent, that's saying, I need you now. I need you now. When you draft a player, that's saying, I'm investing in you. And investment is the long game. Spending money right now is the short game. So from a business perspective, from a football perspective, you spoke an entendre there, and I appreciate it because entendres rule the world. But that's why I sat back in my chair like, that's definitely because $100 million over 4 years is different than $300 million over 10 years or $450 million over 10 years, like we just seen with Mahomes.
Yup. Germ.
Oh man,
I mentioned this on the Thursday show because people started like I was getting bombarded with in real life and in my inbox. This guy got paid this much. Yo, I heard this guy's getting paid this much. Yo, this guy's looking for this much. The NFL money is monopoly money. And this is where I wish Jay Ham was on the show. Vic, I'm gonna let you jump in and then we're gonna really kick off the free agency show because we gotta ramp it up. Go ahead.
I mean,
ramp, ramp.
Never
mind. I was gonna say we'll never wrap it up, but never mind. Go ahead.
I was just listening, to what you guys were saying. Are we talking about in terms of Seattle and what they want to do with their future? Because I mean, right now, like this Deshaun Watson thing is picking up a lot of steam. Especially he's supposed to meet with the Browns. Something Germ kind of was happy about.
Easy. We have a whole chapter dedicated to Deshaun Watson today. Okay, we are not going to mention his name until we get to his chapter. Okay, because we are about to bring a sermon to these views. All right.
Listen, first round quarterback versus trading for one. I mean, I'm all up in the draft, Mo. I'm all with the draft. Obviously it depends on what level and who we're talking about. I mean, like you said, we'll get into it in a little bit. If somebody goes to the Browns, that means there's gonna be another quarterback there on that roster right now currently.
Okay, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there because we were talking about Pete Carroll because he just jumped on. So I'm glad you got back home. I'm glad the young one is back home.
Yes,
hope he had a good day in school. Excuse me. We were talking about Pete Carroll and the way he builds championship windows and all that. So let's dive into the show. Welcome. It is 15 after the hour here on the 15th day on the 3rd month of the Lord's year 2022. It is the year of the 22. Shout out to the 22. We got a great show. It's been a hell of a football conversation so far. Just keeping it light, recapping what we talked about on Thursday. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers right now, okay? So we're going to talk about some breaking news. A lot for me to talk about for Jack Mason. Woo! The narrative that I got coming out on that. Hey, yo, real quick. R.I.P. Razor Ramon. I said, woo, reminded me, hey, yo, R.I.P. to a real one. R.I.P. to the bad guy, okay? Listen, our main talking points today, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, his name who shall not needeth, nor speaketh, nor breatheth, because the fate of the NFL season rests on Watson, Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes. That is my Mount Rushmore. What I say, Watson, Rodgers, sorry, not Mahomes. Watson, Rodgers, Wilson, Brady. That is my Mount Rushmore for the 2022 season. No offense to Pat, Allen, Lamar, if y'all offended, grow up, okay? No offense to Joe Burrow. Those are the 4. So let's talk about the Aaron Rodgers trade, okay? I mean, the deal. Aaron Rodgers. Vic, what have you heard about the Aaron Rodgers? Let's see if you have a surprise factor in all this. What's the last thing you heard?
That he's getting $75 million next year.
So, okay. I'm gonna make sure that I don't say anything wrong here. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
I
let's
have
pull
it
that up.
right. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna trust myself here. I'm pretty sure I read it right.
So I
It
know
is
that
a
his
3-year,
yeah.
$150 million deal. Okay. 3 years, 150. Fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed. All right. That 3rd year is technically the end of this year. So that's going to alleviate the cap situation for the next 2 years. However, for the next 2 years, the Packers are guaranteeing $62 million per year for the next 2 years to Aaron Rodgers. That is $124 million on top of the 25 that they just added on for this year. This is why the NFL is monopoly money, because you could spin it any way you want to spin it. Okay, you could handle these contract words like Van Exel. All right. Here's the end of it. There is 2 more years at the end of this deal that are spacer years. Okay. Basically, after these 2 years, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers will sit down and decide if he wants to keep moving forward or not with the Green Bay Packers. At that point, he will still get his money and they will have more years to work with. So it does come up to, at the end of it all, a 4-year, $200 million type contract. But it is really 3 years, 150, 2 years, player/team option after the 2 years. Very, very, very creative, very interesting. Only further proves my point that all they want is to make sure this man can secure the loan when he wants to buy the Green Bay Packers in 8 years, okay? Because that is a very creative contract that allows that man to get paid $125 million over 2 years. Guaranteed. Before I pass the mic to whichever one of you want to jump on first, all I'm going to say is, Aaron, you better give a gratuity to Kirk Cousins because he set this template. But that's none of my business. Go ahead, Vic.
So apparently their cap hit for this year was 42 million, if I'm not mistaken. Now it's down to 28 million. However they adjust that, I don't know how they do it. Maybe you have a little bit more information on how that works. So it does open up some cap space for them. And now, according to reports, you got Davante asking for 30 million a year. Right now, his franchise tag is at 20.1. I don't know if you guys spoke on that a little bit before I got in.
We haven't.
But according to these websites that we use, overthecap.com, for anybody that would like to look at their team's cap situation, it's a very informative website. Davante is getting 20.1 on his franchise tag. Apparently, he wants 30 million. I didn't even know that DeAndre was averaging 27 million a year. So I guess
check this out. This is what's funny about the Nuke thing. Nuke's contract just over the next 2 years or something is in the 20s. But after that, but before that, it was like 14 or something like that. And then I think after that, it was backloaded.
It was backloaded more. Okay.
Yeah.
So backloaded. I mean, so they take out they obviously do the average in terms of the top 5 salaries in terms of their franchise tag. But he's gonna look at it, him and his agent, his team, or whatever the case may be, are gonna look at it as this guy's averaging 27 million. I think I'm worth 3 million more. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Packers do, because they definitely gave Rodgers a lot of money. But again, they maneuvered somehow, some way in which they were able to open up about another 20 million in cap space with the way they handle these contracts. Like Mo said, I mean, at this stage, even though there is a cap, it just feels like they can maneuver and do all kinds of games with it to make space. So It's going to be interesting to see because Devontae said that he is not going to play currently on the franchise tag. So it's going to be interesting to see how much investment they put on that man right there. So because he's important to that Rodgers, those Rodgers MVPs. I'll tell you that much.
So I'm going to say this too, and this needs to be said. This is why you don't build an offense around one player. Because in this situation, all 300 catches in the last 2 years gives him a heightened sense. 300 catches plus, 30 million plus. You see the difference? Take off a zero. Stop playing with me. Hey, bro, sit down somewhere. Sit down. If you paying receivers $30 million in this NFL, what better be happening is you better have a rookie quarterback contract scale, and you better have other things that you need on your team. I'm sorry to tell you this: Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are not needle movers. I'm just gonna put it out there.
They're not needle movers.
They're not needle movers. Shout out to the head of the table. They're not needle movers.
What you mean?
So when I say they're not needle movers, we're talking about, all that production over the last 2 years, and we still been home before February. So that means in the games that it matters, it don't matter if he get 10 catches or not.
So, not to cut you off, but this is a breaking news show. Something interesting has developed over the last 63 seconds. News on 2 tackles. Brian Bulaga, the Chargers have released him. Teron Armstead. Multiple sources, according to Matt Miller. Shout out to Matt Miller. His Twitter handle is NFL Draft Scout. Good dude to follow. Been following him for years. I don't even think he got a check mark yet, honestly. I don't know. If he did, good for him. Multiple sources he's talked to today believe that the tackle is waiting to see if the Saints land Deshaun Watson before he decides where he will sign.
Makes 100. I'm 110% with him.
In 6 minutes or less, we will hopefully start. I'm not sure if Big Shot and Jay plan on joining. We never got confirmation, but I know there's some things they wanted to talk about with the Deshaun Watson thing. But keep going, Jerm. I'm sorry.
I just want us to make sure we understand when a player moves a needle in some type of way, that's when they're worth these bags of $25, $30 million plus.
Let's get into that. Let's just, we got a little bit of time, I guess. Where do we separate the production on the field versus what the market is dictating? Is there a separation?
Yes, it has to be a separation because he can be worth $30 million to the Packers, but be worth $15 million to the Chiefs.
Fair.
I think excellent opportunity breeds the ability for you to be able to set a market. There is no market for a player that the offense doesn't use, which is why other players go to other teams. So why is his market $30 million, but Marquez Valding
MVS.
Hey, don't feel
his
bad.
Market not at $10+ million a year? Because you mean to tell me you don't need a guy who takes the top off of a defense in every offense?
That's because the quarterback ignores him. So his market value.
Hey, Google, what is a guy with 3 first names as a receiver worth? I gotta type it out, y'all. Hang on.
So, but if you think about it from that perspective, opportunity is what breeds the ability for the contract to be what it is. Yep. Why do we like DeAndre Hopkins and AB so much?
Because they can go anywhere and produce anything.
They're worth $20 million for any team. You see what I'm saying? Devontae isn't worth $20 million for every team because he's not going to be used the same way with every team.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Because of the position. Well, that's a nail on the head point, head of
Like-
the table point.
Well, I mean, that's not to say he can't go to every team. It's just they're not going to use
I
him
think
to the way.
bro, he's good enough player to go to every team, but
Yeah.
I think his value fluctuates based on the team.
So while we talking about Marcus Van der Scandling,
Mhm.
as Big Shot is entering the door, apparently, I don't know why apparently it's coming out like that today. Word on these Twitter streets is that the Chiefs have shown interest in MVS. Is all I'm gonna say. Where's the germ so true? All I'm gonna say is, or I'm gonna say it like this: if he goes to the Chiefs, I bet you nobody will have a hard time pronouncing his name then. I would say that.
Hey, it's gonna
I
be
would say
Olivia Jones, Drew, Olivia Martin, John. That's what it's about to be. Because I'm telling y'all right now, it's gonna get emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Because it's another. And Vic, I don't know if you realize this. Dude is like 6'4".
Yeah, bro.
It's a big kid.
So you talking a 6'4", sub 4'4" kid that's still developing and probably could be an X in that offense and keep some of those hits off Hardman and Hill and take Kelsey out of that position that ultimately is the reason why they didn't get to the Super Bowl. Them views is different. I told y'all at the end of the day, Kelsey being out there playing the X because Tariq and what's the name should not be playing that much X and being on the line that much. So that isn't a very, very good fit for him because Pat is going to find him. And with those players, come on, man. So I like that. But Devontae Adams, just so you know, $30 million for the Packers. It's not $30 million for the Texans. It's not $30 million for the Browns. It's not $30 million for these other teams. It's only $30 million because of Aaron Rodgers. Because that's who Aaron Rodgers trusts. So if you're Green Bay, if you're going to invest $50 million, if you're going to invest $80 million into two players, I don't know what needle we're going to be moving here to try to get to what we're trying to get to. $80 million in two players?
Yeah.
You're losing to Darius Smith. You're losing him. You're getting ready to have to, bro, what?
You think that first and foremost, let me get that out here because now that it literally just jumped into my mind, that Jordan Love draft pick looks worse and worse by the minute. But you think
he hasn't even got a chance to play? You can't even trade this kid and get the value that you spent for him because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, that's a pick that could have been used somewhere else, though.
Hey man,
you know what I mean? Like,
shout out to J Ham. Jordan Love is officially on the album cover of 3-6 Mafia, Most Known Unknowns. A player drinking naked maca, cranberry vodka, wearing a mink coat that's furrier than Chewbacca.
Y'all gonna leave my boy alone.
Listen. Y'all know I'm modern day Juicy J. I'm with all the North Memphis ratchet energy. Let's go. But I'm telling y'all, it's bad in so many ways because we don't know what Jordan Love is. Yeah. We don't know we don't even know what he's asked to do in practice right now at this point.
Last time I checked, he was asked to do various roles, like, Lamar Jackson roles or Russell Wilson roles.
Goodbye, Vic. Goodbye.
That's what they said.
So now we got Jordan Jackson in this mug. Hey. Lamar Love
for the defense.
So,
but real quick, do you think the agent understands exactly what you just said? Because that's some great points. Devontae Adams' agent understanding the value that he brings for that team specifically, because they're not going to let him go. They're going to
tag him. That man strong. That man said, "Bring me the Brinks."
Let me tell you something.
The Brinks truck. That's what he said.
What? And as always, Germ astoundingly delivered some great points. The one thing he didn't mention is that the owner of the Packers only throws to Devontae Adams, so he's going to want him out there.
Exactly.
This 15-minute segment was brought to you by wearepetty.com. That's not an official website just yet. But we are here. Big Shot is in the building. Tanya is in the building. We are all here for the following segment coming up. Just some clarification around the league about a couple of things. The Bucks are trading a 5th-round pick to Bill Belichick for Shaq Mason in return. So listen, this is Bill's way of saying no love lost, Tom. I've moved on. I see, so have you. All is well. This makes my heart feel good. This type of trade right here. But as always, Bill Belichick is the ultimate schemer. This clears so much cap space for them, and apparently makes them heavy favorites for La'el Collins, which is apparently who Bill Belichick has his eyes set on. Very interesting. All right.
What? Wait.
He wants 3 small tackles, I guess. But
hey,
anyway,
we'll get to that. We'll talk about it.
What are we doing?
We'll talk about it.
No, and then Mo,
damage.
and then I wanted to talk about the guards for the Bucks too. So
we will
get into Brady. And
remember
stuff like
Mount Rushmore for the 2022 season: Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady. We've talked about Russell Wilson. We've talked about Aaron Rodgers. Let's talk about the reason we are all here today. And that is Deshaun. I'll leave big shot to give him 1,000 middle names, Watson. Okay. We know the story by now. There will be no criminal charges. So there will be no jail time. Does not mean that in this monopoly world of the NFL that Roger Goodell will not give Deshaun Watson a go to jail for 4 games card. Does not mean that, but at least there are no criminal charges at play here, which was the biggest obstacle for all these teams. If the news happened before week 6 of last year, Deshaun Watson would have been a Miami Dolphin, and Brian Flores would have been coaching the Dolphins, and Tua Tagovailoa, sorry, Tanya.
No, we're not doing this today.
I'm sorry. Would have been somewhere playing backup quarterback in the AFC South. I'm sorry. I still love you, Tanya.
In the words of 2 Chainz, it ain't nothing to cut that off. Oh, sorry.
Or back it up in the CFL.
We are facing with reality here, and this is the reality we are in. No criminal charges. Here's just speed it up. He will be traded. The expectation is that the decision will be made by tomorrow. To the Texans' credit, despite them butchering everything else, they are being very active in what Deshaun Watson wants out of this, while also maintaining their own personal needs, which is why they told Jim Irsay, stay over there.
Yeah.
He has met or talked to 3 teams, okay? Ironically, all 3 of those teams are in the same division as Tom Brady. The Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, and the New Orleans Saints. He met with the Falcons even though the head coach wasn't there. What? He talked to the Saints. The Saints have a lot of things lingering in the air, including Sean Payton, which Big Shot has a very interesting insight on Sean Payton. The 3rd team, the Atlanta Falcons. Here's the funny part about all this. Arthur Blank must have a blank check. Deshaun Watson reached out to the Falcons. That is why the Falcons are the heavy front runners. The Falcons to land Deshaun Watson. I'm going to open up the table. I got nothing else to say today. Yeah, you know what? Big Shot, come on now. The people want to hear what you got to say.
I will tell you this. First of all, we were in a similar place with Matthew Stafford January. And I say this because if I am the New Orleans Saints, there is no price that's too heavy for Deshaun Watson.
Facts.
And this is something we talk about in the group chat all the time. If you think you are that close and you are a quarterback short of winning the whole thing, there is no price that is too high. Now, for the Falcons, it makes perfect sense. You get Deshaun Watson. He's the best player to play in your building since Deion Sanders. He's the hometown kid. You sell all the tickets.
You selling all the tickets.
All of them.
You just skipped a bunch of players there.
It's okay. Hey, you get Deshaun Watson. He's going to be in the Mercedes-Benz Santa Claus Christmas commercials. Okay?
He is even if you don't want to say he's the best player, he's the biggest star to play for you since Deion Sanders.
Yes, 100% on that. 100%.
Sales tickets. But I'll leave the roster construction out to y'all. But for me, it's very simple. If I'm the Saints, what is the price?
So,
what does it cost?
I know you also mentioned about the Saints that there might be some miraculous healing.
Which leads me to part 2. Part 2. If we pull that off, if we pull Deshaun off, Sean Payton gets the hey big head text.
Yes.
Because now the quarterback is in place. The defense that we all talked about since last year is in place. Sean, come on back.
Well,
I mean,
Michael
Ron,
Thomas. Shout out to the direct message. Michael Thomas all of a sudden can run a 4-4. His fourth time goes from 4 to 4-4. It's no more slant boy. It's curl routes. It's deep slants. It's fade patterns.
Comebacks. Corner routes. He running every branch.
Based on the roster construction part, Ronnie, that's probably the best fit. To be honest, I don't know what Jerm and Mo thinks.
So,
but I mean,
I'm gonna tell you the best fit.
Well, real quick, let's stick to the Saints real quick because I know where you're gonna go.
The 3 teams,
believe it or
the
not.
3 teams, the 3
believe
teams.
it or not,
Stick to the 3
I know where
teams
you're gonna go.
first.
Tanya, I'm gonna let you
listen.
jump in. I'm gonna make one point about the Saints. We're gonna go around the horn on the Saints, then we'll get to Jerm. Okay, Tanya, I'm gonna let you get your.
No. We stick to the 3 teams. Stick to the 3 teams.
We will, but we got a whole chapter to Deshaun Watson right now. Okay, because we kind of like. Every time we talk about Deshaun, we scratch surface. But within 24 hours, he will be on a different team. So this is the main point today. Tanya, your boy, Free Deshaun, you coined it. Your thoughts today on these 3 teams and what we're looking at.
I just want to say I was right because I had been said that he was not going to have criminal charges. I just want to make that.
Yes, you did.
Clear. I said that from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
But I would prefer him to go to the Saints simply because I just cannot root for him as a Falcon. I can't. It's something about I can't do that. They ruined Calvin Ridley. They wasted Julio's career. I don't want them to do the same thing to Deshaun Watson. But I think the Saints is the best fit for him though because they already have the other pieces.
So like breaking news real quick
outside of Jesus.
Breaking news real quick. The former Bills cornerback Levi Wallace signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very interesting signing. We'll talk about it a little bit later. As far as the Saints and how their roster is currently constructed, right? Number one, you get Deshaun Watson, you automatically are getting back Teron Armstead. There's no question there. The Saints have restructured 8 players. They have restructured 8 contracts within the last few days. It's going to come down to 2 division teams going after Deshaun Watson. He has not met or spoken with, I ain't going to mention no teams. I'm going to be very specific, okay? I'm going to be very specific, not Pacific, because that's a wide area to cover. He has not had contact via phone, Zoom, or DM, or even secret locked conversations with any teams other than the Saints, Panthers, or Falcons. And out of all these 3 teams, it's going to come down to the Falcons and Saints. And if I'm Deshaun Watson, as much as the Saints seem like the sexier option, I might have to go to Atlanta and I tell you this, if I go to Atlanta, they got to blow me away with their 5-year plan. Because the Saints, all they got to say is, hey, man, we're going to call back Sean Payton. Okay. I said, that's all I need to know. But the Falcons, they got to have a business plan. They got to have a thesis. They got to have a 5-year outlook. They got to come with the whole 9 if they get it me. Might there be any other teams? Anybody want to take a gander who could possibly?
I know a team who should take a gander, but
Okay.
Vic has talked about wasted draft picks. Again, when you're that close,
Yep.
San Francisco, I don't know why you don't call.
There's no reason not to call San Francisco.
There's no listen.
I'm gonna give you 3 points why you should.
Go ahead.
Okay, number 1. So Jimmy's costing $27 million towards the cap, right? No matter, even if Deshaun Watson is gonna cost you $40 million a year, the difference in upside, that's no money. That's number 1. Number 2, you getting Deshaun, you are getting him on a long-term contract, which means you can construct the contract so that it alleviates cap pressure. Number 3, last point. Number 3, whatever Deshaun Watson costs, one of Germ's first points when we went live, whatever Deshaun Watson costs, he is not going to cost your franchise as much as a number 2 overall bust. So if I'm San Francisco, because win now, if I want to win now, out of all the teams we've talked about, that's the best one. So if I'm San Francisco, I'm definitely going after Deshaun.
I agree.
Go ahead, Drew.
So
Permission to speak.
Real quick. 2023, he has an out that he can get out of this contract, by the way. But 2023,
that's going to get worked out though. That's not going to stay there. That's for Houston.
But just so we know, the 2023 is the year that they can try to work itself out of the contract. Now, let's get to business. As a person who wants to see Mr. Deshaun Watson succeed, he better not take his ass to Atlanta because Atlanta ain't shit. I done told y'all this before and I done said it again. Like, Atlanta ain't shit. Like, and another thing, why they ain't shit. I'm sick and tired of every year Atlanta coming out with talent and then the talent don't be shit because Atlanta ain't shit. I'm just sick of it.
That's it.
Like, let's just stop. Let's take them away from Atlanta and let's put them in Savannah or something. Maybe that'll help. Take them out of downtown Atlanta and put them in Savannah or something. I'm just at the stage now. I'm over it. I'm over.
At this point, you might as well put them in Athens because Georgia is way better than the Falcons.
Ronnie, we got Ice Tray. We got Ice Tray down in Atlanta now. We don't need the Atlanta.
Okay.
Hey, I mean, I know a Falcon might say Burr, but Trey say Burr too. Ice Tray say Burr. I like that. That is better. Let's move them to Savannah, Georgia. I think that or that small town. Remember that small town that was worth like $1.8 million that we all should have put our money together and buy. They should move them to that town, and then they should just make that whole town the small town Falcons, and that's what we name them, the Georgia Falcons.
At this point, Georgia is all they got. So you send them up there to Athens. Send them up there to Athens with the Bulldogs.
You know what? They can share stadiums. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
They can share stadiums. You know, I think it would save a lot of money, and it save a lot of time because at this stage I'm over it. Deshaun, you got two things. If you go to a team, you want to go to a team that you have the best chance to win. I hate to be the person to tell you this. The Saints, as good as a team they are, the Saints are missing some things. They got the offensive line, yeah, but their roster is aging. So these prime players that they have are leaving their prime. Cam Jordan is not the same Cam Jordan he was 4 years ago. You're going to start to see a decline there at some point. You're talking about you're not really drafting too well. because we're not really getting a lot of draft picks right now because we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with Mormon Tebow. That's another thing. What is Mormon Tebow's gonna what are we gonna do with Mormon Tebow now? Because remember, the Saints did just pay him.
You don't need him if you get Deshaun Watson.
I know that. Mo, you got to tell. Listen, Mo knows the truth. It is what it is. But you just paid him. You already are in one of the worst cap situations in the history of sports because you have been $100 million over 2 years in a row. Deshaun, do you really want to go back to the hood in a place where they don't know how to manage, where you're gonna be getting welfare stickers and food stamps and stuff again? We are not trying to be on Snapped right now. We do not need the Snap program. We do not need to listen. We do not need to call the Black Panthers and get them to reinvent welfare and stuff again. We don't need to do that. We don't need that no more. I think his best option is San Francisco, like Big Shot said.
I agree.
And I'm going to give Cleveland a call. I'm going to give Cleveland a call. And I'm going to say, I'm
Vic,
going there.
Vic, can you host the show, Vic?
No. I'm going there. Cleveland. I said Cleveland. You got bookend tackles. You got a all-pro in Conklin. You got an up-and-comer in Jedrick Wills. You got Batonio and Wyatt Teller, who is the best guard combination in football. You just let go of Treader, but you got this Nick Harris kid who can come in and really play. He can really play. I'm sold on the offensive line. Nicholas Ebenezer Jeremiah Chubb, number 24, is behind me. And I got Dearness Johnson and Kareem Hunt is still on the roster as of now. You just got Amari Cooper. You working on Allen Robinson.
I'm listening to you.
Wait.
I'm listening to you.
No,
Shout out to the.
I want to know.
Wait a minute. I gotta shout the comments out because KG said Baltimore, pick up the phone.
Hey, yo. Hey, KG has defended Lamar.
You just got out of Facebook jail.
Let me tell y'all something, right? I'm gonna shout out my boy real quick, okay? Because y'all haven't seen a happy football KG in 7 years, okay?
True.
Most of the people in the group now have never seen a happy football KG, okay? I would just like to warn y'all from now. He is one of the he's one of those dudes with Memphis ties, naturally, that's got a forever seat on the petty table because of his performance from 2014 to 2016 on Petty Avenue. Okay. So now that his football soul finally feels free again,
He's feeling good about himself again.
y'all about to see the real KG, okay? You're about to see a whole different level of petty.
It's about to be real petty. I'm telling you.
Did y'all see the list I posted the other day?
Yeah,
First of all, for those of you who don't know, KG, Keelan Bradbury in the comment section, one of the views from the 22 group's finest. I know we're getting a little bit off topic, okay, but since we touched on it, where's the list? I know I got this list somewhere.
While you look for the list, I'm gonna finish.
Trevor Siemian.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We don't need to. Listen, we don't need to put that depression on here. We don't need to put that depression on here.
The list tough.
That's depression. But Deshaun, you got all of that talent over there on that offense. More weapons than I can. I got young players that I could use. I got a lot to work with. Like if you want to go somewhere and you want to have the opportunity for you to win, and one Super Bowl in any Ohio team cements your legacy forever. Forever. Going to win in San Francisco is like, oh, he won like Joe and Steve. Huh, great. You win one in Cleveland, they're going to build a statue downtown, in the middle of downtown Cleveland, right by the Justice Center, in the middle of everything. It is going to be Deshaun Watson 4, and it's going to be your highlight play in the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna go by and I'm gonna put a sign on it next to it to say "Steaming Willie Beeman."
That's a strong argument, though. I can't lie.
I mean,
because we have always said that Lombardi will mean more than, oh my God, I forgot the name, than the Larry O Trophy. Lombardi in Cleveland will always mean more because Cleveland, hello, you got Canton right there. So
Correct.
I'm not disagreeing with what it would mean. But go ahead, Vic.
You know, I'm German and I go back and forth about this all the time. I mean, all the time. He has given up on Baker. And I've said, listen, if the only quarterback in this world right now that I would take over Baker for the Browns specifically is definitely Deshaun Watson. If he's available, of course, make that phone call. No doubt about it. I personally didn't think that it was going to be possible. So when numerous sources says that the Browns have inquired for the last several months, and I think it's been longer than that, where they're investigating.
You don't listen. I told you this.
I mean, listen. Deshaun Watson is a fantastic quarterback. And if you can take him and place him in that team, and unfortunately remove Baker, I am 110% for it because
I hate to go back to it because people would think I'm trying to like toot my own horn or whatever. But we just saw it. The Rams, Jared Goff was the first overall pick.
Yeah.
The Rams, this is the roster.
Yeah.
He can't get us where we need to get to.
Right.
And they said, Matthew Stafford gets me to where I need to get to.
Yeah.
If you're Cleveland, if you ain't sure on Baker Mayfield,
right,
whether it's the injuries, whatever, and as Jeremy always talks about this 5th-year option, and he's going to have to pay him some.
Mm-hmm.
To me, we in the same spot.
Right. For me, with what it, first of all, Jared Goff, to me, Baker Mayfield is a better player. You know what I'm saying? I think the traits are better, the physical traits are better than Jared Goff. So to me, Baker's still trending upwards, and a lot of people are going to argue against me on that. I'm going to consider the fact that, dude, he had a torn labrum and broken bones in that shoulder. His WAR was going up, as you know. Last year it was at 3 wins, over replacement. According to various sources. So when you put all those things together, the physical traits, where the team was trending, I'm gonna be 100% for the guy because the injuries to me was what helped in his decline.
True.
But again, if you to me, Baker had if I had to put it in numbers, he had the chance to get to a 90, A-. Deshaun Watson to me is a 99. Okay, and I don't want to name the names that I would take over, like Deshaun Watson over right now, because again, people are just gonna argue with me on that. But to me, he's a top 3 talent in this league, in the world, when it comes to the quarterback position. So, hey, if the Browns have been doing their homework as long as they've done, then hey, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure they're making the phone calls, asking for the meetings and stuff like that, and that would be outstanding for them to because that roster is better than a lot.
I raised my hand first.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, because I got a point to make. Go ahead.
Now we race it. No, I just want to say Baker and 2 first-round picks is much better than they're going to get from any other team. Let's start there. If you want to really think about it, Baker and 2 first-round picks, as not as high as I am on Deshaun and as low as I am on Baker, Baker is better than every player that they would get from the Carolina Panthers. What the hell you gonna give them? Josh Rosen?
And the Falcons. What are the Falcons gonna give? Matt Ryan?
You're right. The Falcons gonna give him Matt Ryan.
It was Jared Goff, and was it 3 first?
Here's the point, Big Shot. Nobody really remembers.
No, yeah.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go.
Look, there you go.
Because it don't matter.
But
It don't matter.
Because watch this. The Browns can mess around and say, okay, we'll give you both of our first round picks from 2018. Denzel Ward for your secondary, Baker Mayfield, and a first round pick. And you still come out on top because you just took a corner last year who you say you really like in Greg Newsome. You still got Greedy Williams that you have, and you just signed in free agency Troy Hill from the Rams the year before.
That's a fair offer. So I mean, they not only they got the roster, but they got the ammo.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So
there is no, but if you want to talk about this from a Laboneer standpoint. Yeah. From a Laboneer standpoint and from a financial standpoint and from a business standpoint and an investment standpoint, no team in the NFL has better assets right now than Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean, my other point, big shot too, was just like these commercials to me that Baker has been doing, that is significant. Like that's like when you give this guy the key to the stadium to shoot these commercials, it means something. But then you hear reports where like they've been investigating on the Deshaun Watson situation for months. They don't give a shit about those commercials and that key. give me that key right back, brother. I'm sorry, but we're getting Deshaun here.
They changed the lock.
America.
Changing the locks. Take them out. Pack up.
Corporate America.
Tanya, anything you want to add before we?
Yeah, Ty, we don't freeze you out. We sorry.
Yeah, I'm a support him almost wherever he goes. Yeah, so you know,
I hear that.
All the crab cakes they can eat.
Here's
Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
Because I'm gonna stick to my heelish ways. Okay.
Oh Lord.
Because I still think Deshaun Watson should not want anything to do with Cleveland. Because the way I look at it is this, right? You court a woman out a few times, you know. You have some lovely dinner dates, you know, go to a couple undisclosed locations, and everything's groovy. He's like, yeah, yo, I'm feeling this girl, she feeling me. You know, it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. In my Ashley Banks voice. Then all of a sudden, couple days later, couple weeks later, whatever, you ain't really hearing from her. You see her, she out and about. With a red dress and red heels and with a different person, right? Few months down the road, maybe even a year later, she comes to you and says, you know what? It should have been you from the start. I just realized the person I picked wasn't about bleep, okay? Now, full disclosure, this is not from personal experience, okay? This is just my brain whipping up some shit. The way I'm looking at it, if I'm Deshaun, y'all could have had me twice, and you didn't pick me twice. Matter of fact, when I was picked, that was your pick that y'all traded away. So if I'm Deshaun, from a pettyistical, principle-based standpoint, I am not wanting anything to do with the Cleveland Browns because y'all could have had me twice and you chose not to take me.
Jeremy, you gonna let him be a jerk like this? He just threw that in the air in the universe.
Yeah, he did.
Like, you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny?
See,
thank you, Vic.
Hey, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go there with you real quick, but I'm gonna say this.
Before I take this sip, just so you know, the pinky's out. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So with that being said, now that we have obviously addressed the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Now let's go to the Lions and the Tigers and the Bears. It really is simple to me. If you Deshaun, you say in that situation, if you're Cleveland and you talking to him and he says, well, why didn't you take me then? You flat out can say, well, they were drafting for analytics and not actual wins. In a situation like that, this roster would never be where it is today had we taken you as a player. So that's equivalent to Mike Tomlin saying to Chase Young, I don't want a player like you because that's a lot of losing on Sundays.
Okay. I don't want to cut you off, but here's where I'm gonna disagree with you. Okay, because you're not wrong. However, if we cooking up a recipe, the way we cook it, whatever we cooking, the ingredients matter. So if I had Deshaun, my whole approach towards my roster, towards my franchise changes.
So watch this. At the time when they were picking, they were an 0-16 team.
I agree with you.
So a 0-16 team with holes everywhere. There was no solid spot. There was no player on that team that was guaranteed a contract the next season. Let's say it like that, y'all. Nobody on that roster was guaranteed a contract the next season. You go from that to flipping that into Myles Garrett in that particular class, and then Njoku, who's probably going to be gone, and then Jabril Peppers, who's gone.
I get it. I get it.
So I know he's the blue chip player because I said he was a blue chip player. I disagree wholeheartedly. Me and Vic said it the whole time. If you got a chance to take a quarterback and he's a franchise quarterback, it kind of doesn't matter what you have on your team. You kind of got to say,
yes, thank you.
Insert quarterback left.
Yes.
Hey, what they do to Philip? What they do to Drew Brees? Hi, Phil. Hey, Phil. Hey, Philip, with all them kids, come here. That's what they did to him, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, and we're talking about Drew had won in the league. So
again, like if you go into a steakhouse, right? All these analogies today. If you go into a steak, like I said, recovering from a stomach flu, so I'm kind of hungry. If you go into a steakhouse, you know you're gonna get some good butter rolls. You're gonna get those onion blossoms. You know, you're gonna get all these. You're gonna get some nice fries. You're gonna get some good. You know what you're gonna get. But you're not gonna go to a steakhouse if they ain't got no steak. Once you get that prime rib, once you get that filet mignon, okay, that's when you're gonna get the customers. Okay. That's what's going to bring you the customers. That's what's going to bring you the employees. That's what's going to bring you the commercials. Who they got? Geico? Man, forget. What is that? Who it is? Geico? With Baker Mayfield?
Yeah. No, it's Progressive.
No, Progressive.
Progressive, bro. It ain't even Geico. Okay, we ain't even talking. We talking about Progressive. Okay, had they had Deshaun Watson, they'd have replaced the lizard in Cleveland. Okay. We're doing Deshaun Watson commercials for Geico in Cleveland, not Gecko. Like everything changes once you have that quarterback. The logo changes once you have that quarterback. And again, it's the quarterback is the prime position. No beef, no Lombardi. Yes, defense wins championships. Absolutely. It all starts with the quarterback. And had they gotten that quarterback 5 years ago, there is no telling what this roster would have looked like today and for the future.
So watch this. Here's my counterpoint, and I'm gonna pass it right to you, Ronnie. Because Mo, you know that probably law was probably the thing I should have got into. Because you know that I'm about to refute your point again. If I was Deshaun Watson, there was nothing that would have made me even want to play in Cleveland at that time.
He had no choice. He would have played it. He was a rookie. But
at the same time, you talking about potentially destroying this player.
No, because again, everything changes. Go ahead, Big Shot. Because we're gonna get back to this.
In the conversations you all talked about, the 4 people who the season swings on.
Yes.
Right. You got Wilson is now in the ASC.
Yep.
We know how y'all feel about Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Pat Mahomes.
Yes.
We just watched Tennessee. We have a great regular season. But then we got to go into the playoffs with Ryan Tannehill. To me, when you just look at the firepower at the position, you got to have one of them guys.
Yes.
You gotta have a premium player, blue chip player, however you want it. You need one of them to win Super Bowls in this league.
Yes.
No longer Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, Jake Delhomme league. That's done. You can't. So to me, and
those are anomalies.
That's not right. That is
right.
not the
no.
Germ has talked about and Vic has talked about with Cleveland's roster. I'll say this point again. If you are that close, the price doesn't matter. If you're San Francisco, it don't matter that you drafted Trey Lance 2 years ago or last year.
Send them over.
Doesn't matter. Dallas, it doesn't matter that you just paid Dak Prescott.
Because yesterday's price is not today's price.
It's not today's price.
Shout out to Fat Joe.
Listen, you can say we just paid Dak Prescott, but is Dak Prescott going to beat Brady on the road, Rodgers on the road, Stafford, Rams on the road?
Not going to happen.
Sean Watson could.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, he could.
Sean Watson then been to Brady's crib a couple of times and then took Brady to the wire.
So, Vic, like I say, Vic, I know y'all run all the cap numbers and the constructions, but boy, I just couldn't be that close. And I'm that position short.
Yeah.
And him and Hall on the price. I just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, that, you know, when Mo's saying, or the news saying that, you know, he called Atlanta, I don't know what he's looking at in that roster.
It's home.
To me, that's home.
That's home.
Oh, that makes sense. It just seems it's just too much turmoil there, man. Like, you don't know. Obviously, I mean, we know what's going on with Calvin Ridley now. He's not going to be available for 2022. You know, you got the tight end you just picked, and then what? Like, what else do you have? You know, the defense is bad. You know, so when you got New Orleans, who's got, like Germ said, an offensive line, you got the running backs, you got a solid defense, even though they're aging. I mean, to me, the Saints would be, you know, in that division would be the best option for them, at least within the next 3 years, you know, for Deshaun. I mean, so this is a great topic, man, because we could just keep throwing him on a bunch of teams, and he's just that damn good. He's just that damn good to be on any roster right now.
Deshaun Watson would take the starting job of 29 quarterbacks. Period. Goodbye. I said it out loud. Gang member.
Gang.
Who are the three? Who are the three that say it?
You probably have Rodgers, Brady, and
Go ahead and say it. It's okay.
That's probably
what was the question? I missed it. What was the question?
Deshaun Watson could take every starting quarterback job except for three.
Except
Tom
for maybe
Brady,
Aaron Rodgers,
and Aaron Rodgers.
He said Aaron Rodgers first.
Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Mahomes could stay, but you ain't losing nothing. You ain't losing nothing. What you mean?
Yo, listen, shout out to Chief fans. Shout out to the Chief fans.
Hey, look, I'm just trying to show y'all the large picture.
Hey, Vic, like, I ain't say it. He said it.
Hey, I'm saying it right now. And I'm going to say it right now again. Deshaun Watson probably could take Aaron Rodgers' job because Aaron Rodgers ain't done nothing.
That's what I was going to get to that next.
I mean, listen, realistically speaking, though, it's more than three teams, realistically speaking. But if we just talking from this
upgrade
year,
your position
for this year, there's only three, and there's those three, and I don't even think there's anybody. Everybody else would be. And if we're being real, if we're being as real can possibly realistically be, there's only one. But whatever. I'm glad Vic brought it back to the Atlanta point because I want to tie it back to something that Big Shot said earlier. And somebody that I believe Germ mentioned, and he's sort of the centerpiece of all this in a way because it is that division. Sean Payton, right? If you're Atlanta, like I said, You got to come with a business plan, the whole nine. Okay. If you're New Orleans, all you got to say is, hey, our coach is coming back. He wanted to see what you was going to do. As Big Shot said, and this is where I know German Vic going to get the blood flowing a little bit. Because this is Big Shot's point. If I'm Tampa, everybody calling Deshaun, I'm calling Sean. I'm going to let you take it away, Big Shot, because you talked about if you're this person, can you win a Super Bowl without this person and the other way around?
So my point was, and I know Trav, our resident Bucks fans, is on this, and you guys were too, that Bruce Arians is the problem.
In Tampa.
Right. We know the whole situation with Antonio Brown, all of that, that's Bruce Arians, the play calling, all of that's him. If you got Brady.
He's been a problem for a minute because he was a problem with us, but continue.
No, Bruce Arians is the problem. You got Brady back. What does it cost you to just call Sean Payton and see how much he wants?
Nothing.
Because
like you said, if I'm New Orleans, I know eventually I can win a Super Bowl with Sean Payton. If I'm Tampa, I don't know if I win another Super Bowl with Bruce Arians if I don't have Tom Brady.
Bruce Arians is wildly replaceable. Wildly.
Damn.
And to me, Vic and Germ, y'all notice the Buck situation and way more than I do. But for me, when I got that type of talent, you might as well swing for the fences everywhere. Call them. What would it take to bring you out of retirement? One dude just came out of retirement 2 months. He just came back.
40 days and 40 nights.
40.
That's
Sean,
all
what it was?
That's what it was, bro.
Oh my God. Yo,
Sean,
if he did that on purpose,
listen, Sean, what would it take? What does it take? And then you have at least one, possibly 2 seasons with 2 geniuses. You got the genius at quarterback and the genius on the sideline.
Yeah.
For two, yes. Absolutely.
Brady has a lot of respect for him too.
They got the same agent.
Yeah.
They got the same agent. Again, like, I mean, Big Shot brought this up the other night when we were just talking, and I couldn't wait to get to this part of the show. Bruce is like, without Frank Vogel, okay, that's who Bruce is.
That's such an excellent comparison.
Like, I'm just being real, though. I'm just being real. Like, Frank Vogel is going to build you a winning basketball program because he's a good basketball coach. Is he going to sustain a championship type atmosphere? Not unless he has GOAT tier status.
So, okay.
And
I'm gonna put a question out here.
Go ahead.
A question that was posed to me, and I'm not even gonna say a name or anything. I'm just gonna pose a question.
I know this was Dennis.
How do you know it was Dennis?
Because I could just feel his energy.
Definitely Dennis. It's definitely Dennis.
I was waiting for him to get it out.
Hey, yo.
I will not confirm or deny. I will not confirm or deny. But what's all this hoopla and hoorah over Sean Payton, considering he only has 1 Super Bowl appearance?
That is absolutely a fair point. However, as I've in my history with views, the question has never been him. Mm-hmm. It was the little dude behind the center that was the question.
So that's point number 1. Point number 2. Again, Big Shot brought up the point about how Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, Nick, I ain't even gonna say his last name, Foles Gold. Those are anomalies, right? In the same respect, so is Bill Belichick. So is Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many Super Bowls has Pete Carroll gotten to? 2. Mike Tomlin, 2. Andy Reid, 2. Like, yeah, Payne has only been to 1, but it's not like there isn't one coach outside of Bill Belichick that is way more successful than Sean Payton, because Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin, they all got 1 ring. Like, that's it. Name a coach currently in the NFL or has coached in the NFL for the last 5 years outside of Bill. Matter of fact, I'm going to go further, okay? In the last 12 years, 12 years, 10 years. In the last 10 years, there's only been 2 coaches with more than 1 ring who have coached in the league. Yeah. Bill and the dude that beat him twice. So why this criticism of Sean Payton that he's only won once is a little, dare I say, inadmissible for the evidence.
So did anybody else want to say something real quick?
No, go ahead.
Okay, right. So it's this thing, right? It's called opportunity. What opportunity have the Saints had to get to the said Super Bowl? We're talking about once they won, what teams did they lose to that they should have won?
Well,
you have the Vikings game, right? That game was tough. That was rough.
I got 3 games.
But in that game, did they lose because Sean Payton's play calling, or did they lose because of the inept ability of Drew Brees to complete a pass past 25 yards?
Drew Brees, as we talked about this, this is going to sound like hindsight, but if you've been paying attention, it should be repetitive, should be redundant. The last couple years of Brees' career, when daylight savings went into effect, okay, that arm got weaker. Like, his arm was solid for the first 10 weeks of the season, but as we got into winter, as it started getting darker earlier, as it got into the 3rd, 4th quarter, December,
the
January,
throws start coming earlier, huh? Did they start?
Yeah. Like, you could just see a visible regression in the velocity of his throws.
Yep. You got a quarterback who can only throw 50, who can't throw any further than 20 yards downfield.
Right. So to me, there's 3 games that Sean Payton and Drew Brees will look back at and say, what if? And that's that Minnesota game, the Rams game, which they lost. Nobody lost that game for them. And then Beastquake, when they lost to the 7-9 Seahawks. Because there was no dominant team in the NFC that year.
See, even with that being said, I just look at those opportunities and I just say to myself, that's not like Aaron Rodgers' opportunities.
No.
That's not like that. No. Because if you look at it from this perspective, when the Saints drafted Marshawn Lattimore, they were picking in the top 15. So that was the year that Drew was hurt. Yeah. So if you look at it, Drew had a year or 2 there where he was hurt, kind of recovering, things of that nature. So if you look at it, I mean, did Sean Payton have Tom Brady? Did Sean Payton have what some of these other people have? Did he have, like, even with something like Mike Tomlin? Mike won the same way that every coach has won at their Super Bowl. Good defense or opportunistic defense, solid running game, quarterback makes the plays when they need to, or whatever the case may be. But again, I said that Ben was a Hall of Famer because Ben is a taker in this world. Ben is the only other taker in this world of quarterbacking that we have. Russ didn't take a Super Bowl. Russ ain't never took nothing. Pat took something before Aaron took something. I mean, we don't got a bunch of takers. There's maybe 5 takers in this world of quarterbacking, right?
To piggyback off of that point that you just said, that word opportunistic. This is, again, football is a play to play, down to down sport. You know what I mean? And us as lab guys, we're gonna see every detail because we're detail oriented people. You know what I mean? So when you talk about the details, as great as Drew Brees was, the guy obviously set records, passing records, all up and down the list of statistics that you want to pull up. There was opportunities that he missed. That play that they got that interference that should have been called. There was a guy wide open in the end zone before the ball was even snapped.
There was nobody covering. There was nobody covering him at the beginning of the play. There was nobody covering him at the end of the play. He was open the entire play. And he even cut off his route that was supposed to be a corner route and sat down on the logo.
Go ahead. Yeah, Vic, go ahead and finish that point because there's something I want to add to it.
And then that the Vikings game where the safety missed that play or whatever, again, opportunities did not help Sean Payton's situation when it came to at least adding to his impressive career already.
Oh yeah, by the way, the safety that missed that play went to the Ravens. Glory to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
What did he get paid? Like $9 million a year, I think. Big Shot, anything you wanted to say before I go?
It's just, to me, man, you get Brady. You might as well extend the window as long as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And the window ain't Bruce Arians. Because first, we know Bruce about 106. So, you know what I'm saying? I have to be ages, but hey, Bruce is old. Well, you get Sean Payton, this is Brady and beyond.
Right. Because there's going to be innovation. There's going to be some modern infusion, and honestly, you don't have to, you in no way upstage Byron Leftwich if you keep him as OC and bring in Sean Payton. I guarantee you Leftwich would welcome it as much as Brady. Now look, all this to say, Tampa might still be that last man standing at the end of the season. Why we say that? Because they got Brady. And just goes to show you, when you get that quarterback, everything changes, because Tampa went from, man, they about to be trash to, can they win one more championship?
Yep.
As far as that play, this is something very important. That infamous play that New Orleans Saints fans want to put up there with Steve Bartman. Okay, shout out to the Windy City. That route that Germ and Vic are talking about, that was a corner route that he adjusted and sat down because there was nobody covering him. That was his first read on that play.
Yes.
Where he went, first or second, either way, the read is there. That's the read. Like, forget first read, second read, third read, because it's not a West Coast offense. It's read this. If you get this, go here. If you get this, go there. One of the two is going to happen. If for some reason a third guy inserts himself, then you might look for that, right? But none of that happened. From the snap, from the 3 seconds that they decided we're going to snap this ball with this play, that ball should have went to the left side of the field. 7 seconds later, a wide open ass dude later as well, he goes late to the far side of the field on a lob throw that even if the dude did catch it, there was no guarantee he would have completed the process the way of the angle and the way I mean, they're like, it's no guarantee that if he would have had a chance to catch that ball, that he would have caught that ball. There's so many things wrong with that play for us to say, oh, well, they should have called the flag. You know why? Because I don't believe, the greatest quarterback of all time said this: referees should not bail out bad quarterbacking. And that's exactly what happened on that play. And you get no sympathy from me, Drew Breeze.
So wait, Marcus Williams did just sign with the Ravens?
Yeah, for like $9 million a year or something.
And we talking about we're just talking about, oh my God.
Hey, Baltimore, what did you do to get better today? Nothing. Let's go around the horn. We're gonna wrap it up. I mean, unless y'all want to stay live, you know how this has been the quickest 2-hour conversation of my life.
Absolutely, love it. Love it.
Yeah. The news.
I'll say this.
Okay, here we go. A couple things.
Go ahead.
Desmond King is going back to Texas, and then, somebody gave DJ Reed, the cornerback for Seattle. Yeah, I know. Somebody gave him $10 million. I don't know who.
To do what?
Bro, I don't know. I don't know. I lost it now. I must have cleared it from notifications. But Brandon Sheriff, 3 years, $50 million with the Duval County. 30 of that is guaranteed. The Bengals signed 2 guards that used to protect Tom Brady, beefing up, which no beef, no Lombardi. The Bengals would have seen the ending of that game had they had some better beef on their squad. Definitely. As we get more updates and more breaking news, we will be updating y'all in the group. Let's go around the horn. Anybody? Vic, lead us off, sir.
Any point?
Any point. Just give me some closing thoughts.
I'm excited to see obviously what happens to Deshaun Watson first and foremost. Where the Buccaneers go with the guards, which we didn't really touch up on, but Shaq Mason going over. Quick. Yeah, no, Shaq Mason going over there. They signed Stinney back. So, you got Marpet and you got Kappa who left. I'm looking forward to see if they continue to add to that position in the draft and stuff like that, because, again, you got Tom Brady. All you have to do is protect him. All you have to do is create a pocket, and that's all you need. And then my guy Russ, man, I'm excited to see what he can do with that receiving core. 2 outstanding running backs, an up-and-coming offensive line who they, again, continue to add that beef. And again, a very young defense. I'm excited to see what Russ can do. Like I said before in that previous show, the last few years of his career has been about 7 weeks of outstanding football. And then after that, there's some sort of regression. So I'm hoping that not only he's training better for longevity, Jern, but also that they protect him from getting his body beat up. So those are my 3 things, man, from this, drama that we call the NFL.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Jern?
So my guy, Mr. 1 Cent, Rashad Penny, looks like he's a free agent. So I'm going to go here publicly and I'm going to say, Tom.
Can I get? Oh, I was going to say, can I guess?
Tom, pick up your phone. You pick up your telephone and call him. Tell him that he can get a Super Bowl ring and be behind a good offensive line if he wants to. I don't want to see him back in Seattle. I don't want to see him go to no team that ain't going to give him an opportunity to play the position the way I know he can play the position. I know injuries hinder him in Seattle, but when he was on the field, he was the best running back Seattle had. And it's really not close. I don't care. Carson, no Carson. Mr. 1 Cent. Besides that, Cleveland if you want to show the fans of Northeast Ohio that you care, bring the football LeBron to Ohio.
Ooh.
My God.
Ooh, Jerry, stop it. That's
The football
He's setting
LeBron
expectation.
to Ohio.
Look how it disappears in the light.
Let me tell you
Expectation
something.
disappearing
If
into the light.
Deshaun Watson comes to Cleveland, within 3 years they win a Super Bowl. Within 3.
Okay.
I'm willing to bet. But at the end of the day, that's what I would be looking at that and other things, man. Just in other news, Randy Gregory hit them folks with the pump fake, with the side step back Curry fake. That was beautiful, and I loved every second of it. Dallas just got scored on again.
I got no words for that. Got
Like,
no words for that.
Yo.
What a disaster. What a
Curry.
freaking disaster.
Tanya,
That's what they
closing
get.
thoughts?
Yeah.
Not really. I'm gonna always watch where Deshaun is going.
Is there one player on your mind that you would like to see your team go after? That being the Pittsburgh Steelers?
This year, no.
Okay.
Not yet.
You just kind of
It's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot coming out this year that I'm just excited about.
I'm talking about free agency wise.
Free agency.
Yeah.
No. Jaquan mentioned somebody, but I can't remember who he was talking about. I hadn't even been paying attention. But at this point, no. I'm okay with what we did so far. I'm not mad.
Oh, I agree. I think the Trubisky signing is fantastic, to be honest with you.
I'm not mad about that.
I know, believe it or not. I'm gonna say some things, then I'm gonna let Big Shot give his closing thoughts and close out the show. Ben Jones re-signed with the Tennessee Titans. We talk a lot about this person has went to this team, that person went to this team. They signed this receiver, they gave this corner that receiver. It is often the signings that go under the radar that end up making the most difference. This is one of those signings. I don't know what difference it's going to make for Tennessee because they still got Ryan Tannehill. But good job on Tennessee taking care of a guy who's taking care of them ever since they stole him away from the Texans a few years ago. Andrew Whitworth officially retired. Salute to you, going out a champion, well-deserved.
Yes.
First Hall of Famer. James White,
the team that drafted him too. That's so dope.
Yo, this is how you know dope. Bill Belichick is chilling, okay? Because he bringing back Matt Slater and Devin McCourty. Good job, sure. But he's giving James White almost $4 million a year. This is how you know Bill is not tripping right now on what anybody. Hey, listen, I'm not going to win it this year. Y'all do what y'all got to do. I'm going to get ready for 2024 and 2025 and beyond. I'm going to give James $4 million just because he deserves it. And he does deserve it. And if you want to see why he deserves it, open the Patriots Dynasty, go to page 28, chapter 3, or chapter 28, page 3.
28. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Last thing, and I'm going to let Big Shot to close it out. Mac Wilson. You know who that is, Germ?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know who he's playing for now, Germ?
No.
Oh, he missed it. Oh, Germ. Damn.
He is now playing
breaking news
for
right
William Belichick. They traded
breaking news to Germ right now
to the Patriots for Chase Winovich.
Winovich.
Okay.
Who did what?
The Browns traded Mac Wilson to the Patriots for Chase Winovich, the pass rusher out of Michigan from a couple years ago.
Chase
the white pass rusher. Sorry, I didn't know. I just,
Chase whatever sauce.
Here's my thing. We'll talk about that a little later. There is a mystery team that Bobby Wagner has as his number one team. It is not Dallas. Dallas is number 2. Dallas is the safe landing zone. Okay? I don't know who that number 1 mystery team is, but it would not surprise me if it's Bill Belichick. I'm just saying. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say.
Kansas City.
Big Shot, close it out. Final thoughts.
Subscribe to the channel. Your notifications should always be on. Because I will tell you this, if this Deshaun Watson news breaks,
Yeah,
We're going live again.
you might have your notifications on.
We're going, yeah.
It's gonna be a thing. Shout out to Duval County. Not a contender.
It's spending.
But I like it.
oh, I agree.
I think sometimes I would go too quick at this. Like, if you're a bad team, your job is not to just stay bad. Your job is to actually try to get good at some point. So Duval County, maybe this gets y'all to 6 wins, but I'm not mad at the effort.
Supposed to get on the Rico Hines playing, Big Shot. Supposed to get on the Rico Hines playing.
Get better. But yeah. But the big news, notifications on, subscribe to the channel. Because the minute Deshaun Watson news breaks, we here. We right back at it.
Hey, I'm coming. I'm wherever I am in the world, whether I'm doused in tacos or whatever, or nachos. I might have headsets and all types of gear on. I might be in a scuba diving suit. You never know. Scuba Steve, If it happens, I'm gonna be there.
We actually have a couple of just real quick. The Vikings have signed Jordan Hicks to a 2-year, $10 million contract. So that should be good for them. And the Jaguars, speaking of, have officially cut Miles Jack. So there is some linebacker traffic going on in NFL free agency.
Also,
And
the Vikings also signed Harrison Phillips, Vic.
Yeah.
Who
we didn't talk about
Tanya?
it. We didn't talk about it, but I want to shout out to the Chargers because
Right.
they made moves too.
Oh, what? You swing for it.
I'm gonna say this to y'all now. I'm gonna say this to y'all right now about the Chargers. I don't want to hear nothing about the San Diego Chargers until they fix the curse in that locker room. Call Drew and apologize now.
All right. The Los Angeles Chargers. They got Justin Herbert. They've improved their offensive. They're going to improve their offensive line. They've greatly improved their defense. They traded for Khalil Mack, and they signed J.C. Jackson to a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract.
They already had 6 corners.
Listen,
They didn't work.
Chargers right now, I am about to tell you about the 2022 Los Angeles Chargers. Rodgers. Wow.
Los Angeles Rodgers. You said it right.
I'm going to tell you
Los Angeles Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm glad you know. Disappointment. Go ahead. Keep going.
The 2022. Go ahead.
The name is not a disappointment. It's the player. Okay.
The 2022 Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay, little T-Raj.
Okay.
Little T-Raj.
The 2022 Los Angeles Chargers. All these headlines they've been catching: Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Justin Herbert, all these great players on defense, all these weapons on offense, giving Mike Williams a well-deserved big contract. I'm going to tell you how this season is going to go. They are going to be the biggest disappointment of the 2022 NFL season, and their season will end with Mitchell Trubisky taking a knee on their ass. Remember, I said it.
Wow.
Whoa.
You just remember I said it.
So Trisket gonna take a knee on him?
Trisket is gonna beat him in the playoffs in LA.
Beat him for the biscuit? Ooh,
in LA.
Trisket gonna beat him
Watch.
for the biscuit.
It's gonna be like 16-10. Okay. Something stupid. Trubisky's gonna have like 57 yards passing and 136 rushing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something stupid. Okay. You watch. They are still the Chargers. Okay. I love Herbert. All right. All 32 flavors. You're a beast. But they're not doing it for me. They're not doing it for me at all. The Los Angeles Chargers are equivalent to Longhorn Steakhouse calling themselves a steakhouse. I said it.
Shout out Longhorn Steakhouse, though.
Not a fan. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, bro. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I go to Outback. I love me Outback.
Yo, Outback is tough, though.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
Get the
Longhorn.
shrimp on the barbie.
But shout out to Texas Roadhouse for those butter rolls, though. Those
Yes,
butter rolls,
indeed.
like if we could find a
Elite.
way, bro,
Elite.
elite. Those butter
Elite.
rolls are elite, elite.
All right.
Anything we want to add before we wrap it up?
Hey man, it's just views, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take us home, True. 2-2. Catch y'all later. The Dish, The Scene, 94 views. We got